Here we go. Corresponding angles are always congruent. That's actually false, because they're only congruent if there's a transversal connecting two parallel lines, right? That's the only time they are congruent. So they're not always congruent. We have a name for them. You can find corresponding, but they have to be not necessarily the same. It depends on that part, whether or not the lines are parallel, right? Consecutive interior angles are complementary. That's false. They're actually supplementary. Consecutive interior add up to 180. Vertically opposite angles are always congruent. That is true. Those are one of the properties that are always true. That was the first page of your handout. Sum of interior angles in a triangle are always supplementary. That is also true. They always add up to 180. If two lines are parallel, then the alternate exterior angles are always congruent, and that is true. Because of that statement, right? So you could have technically noticed and went back and changed your first answer, right? If consecutive interior angles are congruent, then the two lines they lie in between are parallel. That is false. They have to be supplementary, not congruent, okay? Consider the diagram to the right. Use it to name the following angle pairs. So we're just naming them. So ready? A and B. I look for A and B. They're right next to each other here, and those are supplementary. If you wrote down straight angle or anything like that, straight angle is equal to 180 or something like that, I'd be fine with that. Sometimes they're called adjacent, like textbooks may use adjacent when they're right next to each other, so that's fine as well. A and G, I look for A and G. And so A is right here, and G, those would be alternate interior angles, right? Alternate interior angles. I'm fine with you shortening it. D and H, I look at D and H, right, along that transversal, they're consecutive interior angles. Okay. C and D, vertically opposite angles. If you just wrote vertically opposite, that's fine. C and E. C and E are actually corresponding. Okay. G and F. So you have G and F connected by this transversal here. They're alternate exterior angles. A and F. A is here, F is right there. They're corresponding as well. So 1 mark for each. So right, same with the true and false, 1 mark each. So next here, solve for x. I will do this because it's part of today's lesson, so I don't mind doing that. So if you get the bonus, good for you, okay? So there's a thing, right? We know that these two are called, oh man, that makes it worse. Anyways, not a good highlighter. But these are alternate interior, correct? So alternate interior angles are congruent because of the lines being parallel, okay? They're the same. Therefore, you can say that 36x minus 9 is going to be equal, right? This whole angle, which has an expression attached to it, right, is going to be equal to 63x minus 90. Because of that, right? So you're like, oh, they both have x as a variable. I know something is true about them. because of these markings. So then it's just basically solving for x, right? Isolating. So I'm going to bring that over. So you have 36x minus, this whole term comes over as minus 63x is equal to, on the other side, you have negative 90 plus 9, right? This 9 here comes over adding. So you put all your numbers on one side, all the variables on the other side, and so you end up with negative 27x is equal to negative 81. At that point, you divide both sides by negative 27, and it will actually, right, give you a positive x, and this is also going to be a positive, so x is equal to 3. If you got that, you get a mark for that. If you got x is equal to 3, 1 bonus mark right there for you, okay? And then they're asking you to solve for A. Angle A is vertically opposite to this one. That's a train, I think, or a truck. A is equal to this here, 36x minus 9, because they're vertically opposite, right? Get into the habit of telling me why, right? Because A is vertically opposite to this one. So then you say that 36x, which we determined to be 3, you just substitute that in. So A is really 99. This whole thing gives you 99 degrees, right? For that, you would get half a mark, bonus mark today. And for B, you don't have to do the whole work again, because what are A and B? Alternate exterior, right? B is equal to A, alternate exterior angles. And you're like, Mr. Erickson, aren't these vertically opposite? Yeah, they're vertically opposite. So you could have used that. But if B is equal to A, then it's 99 degrees also. So you get half a mark for that. So 2 bonus marks there. So, but this page is going to be out of 13. So this page is out of 13. You can score 15 if you get everything right, plus the bonus, right? So there's that bonus for you. It's not always going to be equal. If they had been consecutive interior, we would have to add them and make them equal to 180, right? Which you will see later on today. Right, so this part, let me just show you here. If you did the homework, there was something like this right here. So it was very much like that. So you kind of you should have been able to do this. So if I do A first, I'm going to check. A is right here. I will do that first. Why? Because of this. If these two lines are parallel, then this is the line that connects them. I'm going to follow that line all the way down, right? Connecting. This is acting as my transversal, and I notice that this angle here is going to be alternate interior to that angle. So in fact, I sometimes use this arrow like to transfer it over. So A is equal to 27 degrees, and your explanation would have been alternate interior angles are congruent, right? So that would have been your first, yeah. Okay, yeah, so you found D first here. Yeah, so then you would say, if this is your first step, then you say 180 minus 137. Yeah, absolutely. And then you use this to find A as sum of triangles equal to 180. Yes, absolutely. You get the marks. Yeah. I hope you follow what just happened, but it's just a different way of going about it. That's why I want you to tell me, if possible, tell me where you start. At the very least, tell me where you start, okay? Because then I can read your story. I can follow that. B is over here. And I noticed that if I follow that transversal, right, always think of what transversal are they along, right? And I noticed that this angle right here is corresponding to that angle right there in my books, right? So that's my second move. And I will say that that's 137. And I say that that's because, let's keep it straight there, corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, so this and this, they're corresponding. Number 3, I'm going to go for C here, vertically opposite. Are congruent, right? And my last move, which for some of you was the first move, not bad at all, that would have been 43, right? 43 there. And I will just say straight angle is equal to 180. And of course, it's getting a gray area here. I'm fine with you just stating it, but I would say it's probably a good idea to show that step, just in case you make a mistake, right? You can maybe get some extra marks there. So you get half and half, right? You get half a mark for the correct values here and half a mark for each correct justification. So 4 marks in total if you got it all right. And obviously you might have a sum of triangles equal to 180 in there, and that's fine. And if you're not sure, at the front, just say, can you please check question 4? And I will check. But for now, just give yourselves a mark there, okay? Next, for each of the following, indicate whether or not lines are parallel. You must provide an explanation. So here we would say that corresponding angles are congruent. Therefore, lines are parallel. We don't know, we don't have like an AB is parallel to CD, it's just no letters, so just go, the dashed line is kind of like your transversal there. And then here, I would say alternate exterior angles are not congruent. That's how you say not congruent, or you just write it, they're not the same. Anything like that will do. Therefore, lines are not parallel, or you can use this symbol. It's up to you. Okay. So I think, yeah, 1.5 marks for this, 1.5 marks for this step here. I would say you identifying the name is 1 mark, and then telling me whether or not they're parallel would be half. Okay, so that's where the 1.5 is. Next here, how would you show if these lines are parallel? Okay, well, I will find A first, and I will say that A is equal to 180 minus 59 minus 64. So angle A is going to be 57 degrees. You get half a mark for that step. So this being 57 here, you cannot, let me back up here. You cannot just say, oh, A is 57 because they're corresponding. Yes, they're corresponding, but we can't make the assumption it's the same as this one yet. Okay, so we have to use the things that are always true, which is the sum of a triangle. That's the one you should have started with. And so corresponding angles are congruent, therefore lines are parallel. So you get 1.5 for that. Okay, so no A equals?
No.
Does that 57 show up here? Did you put it in your diagram here or no?
Yeah, I did.
Then it's fine. Yeah. If you put it here, then I know that that's what you're referring to. Mhm.
And do we have to put like the parallel symbol for each?
What did you use instead? You just told me they are parallel.
This is parallel, not parallel.
Yeah, that's fine. Saying it using words, that's fine. Okay, so this page is out of 9, right? 4 and 5, that'd be 9. So if you add up both pages, it's 22, right? So make sure the total up here, because I made that a bonus, right? So it's out of 22, potentially 24 that you can score. Okay, name and last name, flip it upside down, pass it forward, and get that handout out as well as some loose leaf, okay?